When you run a business today, you rely on apps to automate lots of different tasks for you. Most of those apps actually offer a free version because the businesses that run those apps are trying to upsell you to their premium version. So this works great for small businesses because they can start on that free version. Because you get all of these awesome tools for no cost, they can help you to grow your business. This is all pretty obvious, really. But I just wanted to make a video on 4 apps that I've been using and that I think are really great for this idea. And that's kind of it. So should we jump in? I think so. So in this video, we're going to be looking at Mailchimp, Judge Me, Smile.io, and Hotjar. And the idea is to grow your business. So I've been running StrayPath for about 18 months, maybe 2 years now, just a small video production company. I've been working as an employee at Debutify for about 10 months. So I don't own the business, but I definitely have been using lots of different apps in the company. And then I also just started Fern City, which is a Shopify store 2 months ago. And you guys have been following along with that if you are a subscriber. Okay, so the first app is Mail Chimp. You might have heard of this already. And if you haven't, I'm happy to introduce it to you. It is a fabulous app, so elegant and user-friendly. They've got a ton of resources, blogs, tutorials on their website, which is gonna help you set it all up. Their 2 primary functions are an email campaign, and they also have a website builder, all integrated with seriously good marketing know-how and UI. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to set up an email campaign, and I'm just gonna do a general workflow of how Mailchimp works. So let's go. And another thing to remember, while I'm making this video, it's probably gonna look a little bit different for your screen because I've already set up a lot of these things, but if you can follow along, then you'll be okay. So yeah, I've already connected my store and the automations are set up and the contacts have been added, but I'm not quite ready to launch yet, so I haven't done that. But let's just start out making an email. So this is obviously going to depend on which niche you're in. Before you actually write the email, you will have to make an audience, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And it's entirely up to you what kind of email you want to be sending out. You know, this is such a broad thing. It's essentially just conveying information from your brand to the customer, but you can also just like give out soft, passive brand awareness. I think I've discussed already, but you might not have seen it when I talked about Later and how Later, they always give me really good insights into how to grow a business on Instagram. So I kind of look out for their emails just for that insider knowledge. That's kind of what I'm going to encourage today is you should always be giving value to your customers. If people get value from your brand for free, then they know that they're going to get value when they pay for your service or your product. An olive branch to be the first one to reach out and say, hey, I'm a brand. I got stuff to sell. Let's be friends. You should be my customer. Of course, these sorts of things are hard to teach because your own brand, your own dropshipping business is going to be different to mine. And it's going to be different to the next person's. For me, I'm selling bees wrap right now. I mean, the first thing you need to consider is the subject line. So in my subject line, I'd be saying 3 reasons that bees wrap beat plastic wrap this year. A little bit of knowledge going in there and a little bit of bias, obviously, from me because I want to sell people the bees wrap. But my audience, I already know, are interested in eco-friendly products. And if I can come in and say, hey, we're actually winning the war against plastic here. This is a bad thing. And this product is the new good thing. It's all very subtle, kind of unsaid. But it's enticing in that subject line. It's just like, hey, what are these 3 reasons and what is a bees wrap anyway? And that's just what you're essentially trying to do on every step of the way in email campaigns is you want to get people to the next step. So with that sort of philosophy behind us, let's just have a look at the different templates that Mailchimp has. Tons of templates here. Featured, sell products, as I've just discussed, making an announcement, doing a bit of brand awareness, telling a story, the same sort of thing, just maintaining that customer relationship. Follow-ups, so abandoned cart emails, for example, and education, just sharing your blog. Perhaps you've got a blog on your website and you want to just pump that out through Mailchimp. Having a look visually at what looks nice, what you resonate with potentially could be what your customers resonate with, or you could just pick one at random. I would probably go for this, simple text. No, that looks kind of silly. But even if you picked simple text, Mailchimp is so user-friendly and customizable. It's just like Squarespace or any of those drag and drop applications where you can just pop right in something here. I mean, the first thing I've just picked here is a divider, and you can even change how thick it is, what color it is. And then you can add in so many different things, you know, social proofs, images, image links, promo codes, videos. I'm just reading it out loud. I mean, once you start building this out, you'll be able to see exactly what you can do. But I also just want to encourage you to use this because it is a helpful app. And if I'm the guy who's introducing you to the helpful apps, then I'm happy because I'm just trying to, you know, provide value.
Thank you, friend.
So let's just step back. I'm gonna go back and have a look at their first email, and I'm gonna just do some typing. So I just did a little bit of brainstorming. That's the beauty of these apps, is that they give you a space to be creative. That initial idea that I was coming up with kind of on the fly when I was talking about subject lines, I've just expanded and changed a little bit. So instead of what I said earlier, I'm now saying 3 reasons Fern City destroyed plastic wraps this year. And then I would just go into saying how we don't sell plastic wraps, the pros of the cotton wraps that we are selling, and the cons of what plastic wraps are doing to the ocean. So you're essentially just saying, we're doing a good thing, other people are doing a bad thing, you should trust us, you should come with us, you should give us your money.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
A cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Okay.
But that is kind of that. So with these subject lines, you do want to stand out from your competitors. You obviously want to do that anyway. But if you do stand out and people click into the email, then that's going to tell Gmail, and most people are using Gmail, it's going to tell the Google algorithm that your business has value and that people want to open these emails. And that's just going to increase the click-through rate if people keep clicking through and opening your emails. And of course, it's going to affect that whole funnel. But you obviously just want this subject line to be very enticing so that you have this nice positive feedback loop of the algorithm pushing you up to the top. And then of course, you'd want to be putting images in of your product maybe, or even just like along this line, we could put in how much plastic is in the ocean and how we could change the world if everybody shopped at Fern City. That would be great for me. And probably the same sort of principles apply to your own store. You want to be getting everybody to shop at your store. So once you start building this out, you realize that it's actually just limitless. You really are creating quite a nice funnel here. So all I've done so far, subject line, image, body text, and then a promo code, because you actually just want to have an offer where you entice people to actually come and shop on your store through an offer. You know, ancient technique works like a charm. And you can link your promo codes to Shopify right here. I'm not going to click it because it shows you all the free ones. I have a few 100% off discounts. But yeah, essentially you can put that there and say, you know, you're lucky to open this email and we're going to give you 20% off, you know, something like that. So that's kind of the email covered. By no means have I completely covered it. There's a lot to be said here. And while I'm typing this out, I'm realizing that I need to make some videos on the psychology of marketing because there's so much to be said right here in the ad copy about psychology of influence. But probably make that in future. Right now we're making the app video. So if you want to subscribe, then maybe you'll see some of those in the future. So there's tons of different email campaigns that you'd want to build. I mean, as a beginner, one option that's available to you is actually just making a massive vault of emails for maybe 2 or 3 months worth of content and then crafting a welcome email. So you want to hook people in and then you want to have this big vault of content that you can feed to them. And then you kind of want to just let that run in the background, let that be automated while you then turn your attention to getting more customers. So yeah, but that's just one way of doing it. You could just hit the ground running and kind of keep back and forth week to week, day to day on the emails. I'm a little bit more cautious and I'd probably just write a bunch of stuff before I start sending out a newsletter. I'd want something to fall back on in case I got bored, in case I suffered an injury, and in case I ran out of ideas. Right now, let's just head back up to the top of Mailchimp and have a look at the audiences. Wow, I've got 5 contacts. Just adding this in now. If you've been following this channel, you are following a really organic, authentic business being built right in front of you because the Shopify store that I'm building, Fern City, is only about 2 months old. So on the free plan, you are gonna get 2,000 emails and you only get 1 audience. Maybe later, if you wanted to expand, you could have different types of audiences. like a YouTube, Instagram, Facebook audience, or organic audience, traffic that's come directly to your site. And then you could do slightly different email campaigns to all of those people. But right now, I think the brilliance of MailChimp is that it's free to beginners. And of course, they're incentivized to help your business excel because they want you to upgrade. So once you've got past the initial beginner limits, the initial free plan limits, then you're going to be able to be upsold to their higher plans. But once you get there, your business will actually be doing a lot better. I mean, more money, more problems, but they are incentivized to actually get you more sales, which is pretty cool. It's not always the case. The checks and balances with these apps aren't always like that. Yeah, if you click on Manage Audience on the right, you can add in manual subscribers. Maybe you wanted to add in people from one of those channels that we just discussed. We're not really discussing things though, are we? I'm just talking to a camera. But anyway, let's have a look at the contacts. So yeah, contacts are blurred because of customer privacy, but this is essentially just where you would have a look at who is your audience. You can customize the sign-up forms and change the preferences there, and a bunch of settings. If you like cookies, names and defaults, and email beamer, and linking it to Google Analytics. Lots of integrations, of course, with something as big as Mailchimp. Initially in this audience section, they're gonna give you some growth bars. Obviously I'm skyrocketing right now at 2 subscribers, not bad. And then I haven't run the campaign yet, but this is where you would see the campaign performance. You can also create surveys within Mailchimp because getting feedback from customers is a very useful thing. I've been doing it on Instagram through Fern City, just asking people a couple of questions. And if you wanted to do that through email, a little bit more professionally, then that is also another option. I mean, doing it through Instagram is kind of candid and brings you down or up to the customer's level, puts you on the same playing field. But also with an email, it's nice to just ask people what they think. But we will be getting into feedback in one of the later apps in this video, so might have to move on to that anyway. So one more thing before we finish up with Mailchimp, there's actually a really cool secret hack here. If you don't have a subscription to Adobe, like lots of people do, you don't have access to something like Photoshop. But if you have a Mailchimp account, they have an excellent image editor that you can use in all of your creatives through Facebook and even on your Shopify store. So it's just on the left-hand side. If you go down to Content Studio, upload a file like this ostrich photo that I took in South Africa. That's a bit of a long story how I ended up so close to it. And then just click Edit Image. It'll open the image editor. And yeah, so you can do, classic initial crops and also add lots of cool filters. If you wanted to make this ostrich just, whoa, that's actually really cool. Kind of black and white, but not too. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to get carried away here. Those are just basics. Then you can do your own initial adjustments. It's a bit slow to respond, to be honest, but it does have a lot of potential. But that is Mailchimp, really quite wonderful. Let's move on to the next app. So now we're gonna look at Judge Me. Judge Me is essentially the free version of Looks Reviews. It's not the free version of that company's app, but it's doing the same sort of thing, and Looks Reviews doesn't have a free version. So I actually made a video about Looks Reviews. It's a wonderful app, and you can watch that over here somewhere. But if you don't want to pay for that initial upfront cost, as many beginners don't, then you can use Judge Me, and I use it myself because of that reason. But yeah, I definitely recommend you look at that Looks Reviews because I explain the kind of psychology behind social proof, and I'm not really gonna do that here. I'm just gonna go through the app real quick. I basically just with all of these apps want to expose you to them. I'm not really the expert on Judge Me. You can hit them up with an email if you have any questions, but I definitely just want to show you that they exist. So the first thing you want to do once you've installed the app, and you want to do that through the Shopify App Store, is you want to add the widget. The widget is essentially just going to showcase the reviews that you've got from AliExpress, and you will need another app to do this, but I'll just show you this first. So probably the recommended installation, unless you know how to use code. I did a bit of code at uni. I only learned C++. The only thing I really remember was that you can knit libraries together, but I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent there. I'm not very good at code. That's the story. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, you could go for 1, 2, or all 3 of these options here on the installation or review widget on product pages, or a preview badge on your product page. And then probably what I'd recommend is going straight to the live theme, or if you want to just hold back and curate all of these reviews, you can put it to an unpublished theme. I don't really know what's going to happen here because I've already installed it. So it's going to show me a little preview here, but I'll just bring up the full site to show you what's going on. Sweet, so this is Fern City. And on the landing page, I've just put the reviews in between these two blocks. I've got a photo, and then I've got my Pledgeling Against Malaria Foundation donation tab, and it's just gonna go through. And once you click on these reviews, it's just gonna take you to the product page. This one isn't really set up at all. Obviously, you shouldn't have products on your page like that. But yeah, basically all I wanted to show you was that they get imported straight here, and they look really elegant actually, just flowing down from underneath your product page, right at the bottom, because people are gonna scroll through the product page and try and figure out if other people have already bought the product. And that's exactly what you wanna provide. You wanna say, yep, people have bought it, it's great, it works, and here's what they said. So once you've just double checked that it works on Judge Me, the next step would just be to say, yes, looks great, and that is done. But yeah, let's just backtrack a bit and go to the AliExpress Review Importer. You're gonna want to install this as well, because essentially the Judge Me doesn't do the AliExpress reviews, it just does any reviews that you get. So you can get it from another website, which is, added integrations, which gives you more scope for your business. But most people are beginning with AliExpress. That's kind of just how things are going. I'm not really sure though, you do have your own unique journey. But with me, I found AliExpress first. And so you're gonna need the AliExpress Review Importer. Again, quite intuitive. Import reviews from AliExpress, pop in the URL of the product. So if you wanted a 4K $15 drone, you'd grab the URL, go back to AliExpress Review Importer, pop that in, and then you would want to put in, I'm not selling drones, so I don't have a link here, but you'd import the URL of the product page as well. So let's just say the bees wrap. I'm not going to import it now because I don't want the drone reviews, but it's just going to give you a few options here. Which country you want them to come from. If you have an audience that speaks multiple languages, for example, Spanish and English, you could keep in the Spanish and the English countries. Maybe I'd probably get rid of the Russian and the Chinese. If you wanted to be really clever and you wanted to target to the UK, just keep in the English, the original English country. And add, but it's completely up to you. And then some added options here. It must have content. So what that means is people sometimes just click the stars when they make a review. They don't actually write a review. So you could click that if you wanted to have actual words. And then you can have, they must have pictures as well. Now this is obviously gonna limit how many reviews you can get, but with these products, if you've got a good supplier and they've sold many times, they're gonna have lots of reviews, and you only really need to have 5 or 6 on your page anyway, maybe about 20 max. So you are gonna cut out a lot of reviews, but you don't need 200,000 reviews on your page anyway. It would look kind of silly. And then yeah, just wanna import it. But like I said, I don't need to import that because I don't need the drone. And that is essentially how that works. So let's move on to the next app. Okay, so now we're gonna look at Hotjar. So you can use this in 2 ways. You can essentially put up a feedback tab on your website, and I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how it looks. Or you can have a look at how people use your website. Actually, it's not even or, it's both. You get both of these pretty cool, unique features. It's much like Lucky Orange, if you've heard of that, but with this added feedback review feature. So once you've signed in, that's a pretty easy step. Sometimes it's not. You will be inside of the Hotjar dashboard. I have installed this, it's just sort of bugging out, so just give me a minute.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so before this video it was working fine, but what we're gonna have to do now is I'm actually just gonna show you how it works. So essentially you just wanna drop your tracking code into your Shopify store. Take this code right here. It's gonna tell you what to do anyway, but I'll tell you as well. And just pop it into the head of the pages that you want to track. So let's go to Shopify. Head down to your sales channels and open the online store. And under your live theme, click actions and then hit edit code. So I'd pop head into the search bar and you can actually see that I have already put it in, but for some reason it's not working. If that happens, what I would do is I would just replace it and then go back to Hotjar, verify that it's working, and there you go, bingo. So I don't really know what happened there, but essentially when I logged in, it wasn't working, and then I just overrided the old code. I think maybe it just had a incorrect login or something, and it was trying to retrieve it from a different email address or something like that. But now this is all linked. As I said at the beginning, Hotjar has 2 pretty cool options. So let's have a look at the create feedback widget. Essentially, all that this is going to do is it's going to allow your customers to give you a little bit of insight into how their experience was on the page. And the basic version is you just have these emojis, and you can give people the option to say, yeah, nice website. And then also another opportunity to capture people's emails. You can pop that in as well. And you're away. Change the color to dark, and you can hide the Hotjar branding if you upgrade. And you can also change where the position is and the language. I actually kind of like the initial emojis that they have because they're kind of unique. And then if you wanted to, you can upgrade to these different styles. Yes, super easy to use. And then once you've set up those design, those aesthetic things, you can get into the questions that you actually want to ask your customer. My advice here is that you want to make it idiot proof for people. You want to just make it very quick, very simple. Don't ask too many questions. I probably only ask one. You can keep it broad, or you could try and refine this over time by coming back and changing it with specific questions about your website. Do what you may, it's your app now. Good luck with it. And that's that. In terms of the questions, you can pick if you want to have it on phones, desktops, or tablets. I'd probably obviously get all three. And then I would go collect it on all pages as well, because the more data you have, the more you're going to understand. So the only option for free version is you get an email with this feedback. If you want to sign up for the paid version, the business version, you can get emails through Slack, of course. Cool, so that's all set up. Let's jump over to Fern City and have a look at what it looks like. So just there on the right-hand side, how's your experience? It's great, yeah. And that's it, and then you can just put it in. It's kind of just the same thing. Yeah, really quite simple. I was actually amazed at how easy that is to set up. So the other great option is the heat maps. You can have a look at the recordings and you can have a look at where people are clicking. I just set this up so we don't have many visits. Clicking on the flower just underneath the bee on the text here. Pretty hot map on the add to cart, 15 clicks. I mean, it's really quite genius and scary, but you know, also really intuitive and kind of obvious at what it does. So you'd want to come back here and use this feedback to understand how users are using your website. So the heat map is going to show you your most and least viewed and used parts of your website. Then you've got the feedback tool, which is great as well. And then you also get 300 free recordings on the basic mode. So do with that what you will, and yeah, good luck. So let's move on to smile.io. Smile is essentially just a loyalty program. It's a rewards program to build trust with your customers. When people go onto your website, they can sign up and they can get points for buying your products. It's a really elegant design with the little rewards program, and it's very customizable. So this app should allow you to grow a bit of rapport with your customers, where you can say, if you come back, you're gonna get a discount, you're gonna be able to spend less money on these products, and it's gonna increase your average lifetime order value of all of your customers. And that is a pretty good thing to have. So I'm just gonna rattle off what the free version doesn't have. You get no points expiry and domain, no VIP customers. The upgrade gives you in-depth analysis and analytics, and there's no API, so you can't do advanced customizations. But in my opinion, the branding as it comes in the free version is really great. If you upgrade, you can add your own images, but I kind of like the imageless text because it's just really simple and intuitive, and you want to just let the whole experience be easy for your customers. So it's going to look a little bit different for you when you log in, but this is the Smile dashboard right in the homepage. The first thing I would do would be to customize the panel. This is my panel here. It's called Donation Match. I've been thinking about changing it though, because Donation Match, it doesn't really tell the customer that it's a Fern City experience. Donation Match could be from Smile, So you kind of want to customize this to suit your brand, just to make sure that your customers are becoming associated with you and your store. So people are going to be able to become a member just with their email address, and then they can start earning points. You can change all of the ways that people earn and how much you're going to give them, how many points, and what you even want to call the points. And if they refer people to your page, they get a coupon and you get a coupon. So there's lots of integrations here, but on the free version, you can't use any of them. So that's kind of the main setback that I have. I would love to integrate this with Daily Karma to make sure that all of the profits from this donation actually go to charities. But I'm gonna have to do that on the back end, and it's gonna be a little bit annoying. But that being said, it is a really cool free tool. So here it is on the bottom right-hand corner. It hasn't updated yet. But yeah, essentially what we were just looking at in the setup, except it's live on the store. So you get 200 Fern points if you sign up, and you get 400 on your birthday. It looks like I don't have the colors set up though, so it's a good thing I tested it. It says down here, already have an account, sign in. So the links on my website must be white. So that's something to remember as well. So if you go back into Smile and go to program, this is where you can set up exactly how it works. So I've just got it on the default settings, 5 points for every $1 spent. And then of course you can change the redeems, the name, the branding, expiry. If you want to create a bit of scarcity and some urgency in your store, you'd have to upgrade to growth, which is 200 a month. I'm quite happy actually without that. Of course, there's the customers page. I'm gonna blur those out. Then you can send emails straight to customers as well. And then if you upgrade as well, you also get nudges where you just sort of ping people and encourage them to use the whole system. But yeah, really simple, and I personally think it's great. And I'm excited to see how it actually performs on Fern City. So I just wanted to expose you to those apps. If you didn't know that they existed, I'd really appreciate it if you said thanks in the comments or, anything else. If you do want to see a specific app in the future, I'm more than happy to go over it. I make these app videos twice a month. So if you want to see something that's new or that's old, feel free to just drop me a line in the comments below and I will get around to it. I really appreciate any comments. They're really nice to read most of the time. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. That is all, folks.